Hey everybody, my name is John from Community Life Church, and this is Meals Ready to Eat from the Bible. We would really appreciate a like and subscribe. Hello everyone. Today's message is, for the sake of the gospel, the purpose and purity of the gospel is important. So we're going to take a look at a very short passage today from the book of Mark. We're continuing in the book of Mark. We skipped a chapter or two, but let's go take a look at the book of Mark, chapter 8, verses 34 and 35. We'll get those up on the screen for everyone, and we can read through them. And he summoned the crowd, this is verse 34, with his disciples and said to them, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's sake will save it. That's Mark chapter 8, 34 and 35, two very short verses, but two very weighty verses, profound verses. All right, so first of all, we see, for us to follow Jesus, we must deny ourselves. So what does this mean? And what it means is hard. It's hard to do. It's hard for our own self-interest to survive this. It's hard for our own wishes to be comfortable. We all want to be comfortable. And especially today, when we don't want to put down our phones and our entertainment, the things that entertain us. We just want to continue to be entertained. And that's not part of the gospel that Jesus is preaching. Jesus, on the other hand, is calling us to reevaluate our relationship with ourselves and how we put our own desires and what we put first, and to change what we put first in our hearts and our minds. So how do we do that? Well, that's a hard thing to do, but here's a short list, and it all comes from the word deny ourselves that is in the original passage. So first of all, it means to forget ourselves. Forget about what I want, forget about what we want, forget about being well-fed and comfortable. Gotta forget about that. We have to disown, in other words, surrender ownership of our lives to Jesus, surrender our comfort to him. We have to ignore what makes us feel good and our own desires and what we want to get, and to put our eyes on Jesus, to look at Jesus, to pray to him, to talk to him, to see what he wants us to do. And we have to lose sight of ourselves, and that means we have to stop staring at ourselves and to look at others, to consider others as more important than ourselves, as it said. So Jesus becomes of primary importance, therefore, and not our own self-interest, but his interest. So therefore, we must follow him, is what it says. Now, when it says to take up your cross, it does not mean to purposely pursue suffering. That's not at all what it means. It does not mean to become a public martyr. Oh, look at me, I'm suffering for the gospel, or anything like that. It does mean we have to change what motivates us and what desires we have deep down in our hearts. So how do we do that? Well, we have to learn to think like Jesus thinks. We see in Philippians 2, chapter 2, verses 3 through 7, it says to put down ourselves and consider other people more important than ourselves. And Jesus always put the people he was sent to save above himself. He always put everybody above himself, even though he's God. We have to act like Jesus acts. Jesus willingly obeyed his Father for our sake, for my sake, and we should obey as well. You can read about that a little bit in Hebrews 12 too. We have to serve like Jesus serves. Even though he is God and creator of all that is, all that is, Jesus was a servant of those he came to save. Even those who despised him. So he was a servant of everyone that he came to save. Even the people that despised him and didn't like him. So much so that in John 13, we see Jesus washing the feet of his disciples, including the one who betrayed him, who left the room right after Jesus washed his feet to go out and betray him. So we're not only called to serve, we're not called to only serve those who like us, but to serve everyone. Now you can read about that in John 13, especially verses 14 through 16. Some very important verses. So this all strikes a fatal blow. It all kills all the things we value more than the gospel. We all have them. None of us are innocent of this. They are not by themselves bad or evil. It's not bad to be entertained. It's not bad to watch movies. It's not bad to enjoy a good meal, to sit down and be comfortable. But what is bad is if we put these things before God and have them continually controlling us. So we cannot allow ourselves to put them before God. We must react and get our priorities straight, which is to put Jesus first. And our priority is Jesus and the propagation of the gospel and taking his message to the people, to our communities, to everyone we see. So all of us are called to serve our families. All of us are called to serve our communities. All of us are called to serve our churches. We are all called to go out into the world and behave like Jesus, to think like Jesus, to act like Jesus, to do like Jesus. And we all can do this if we get over our own self-interest and selfishness. So let us take up our cross, each one of us, and be servants and understand that this is the purpose and the purity of the gospel. Thanks for watching. You can join us Sunday morning, 10:30 at 20 West Main Street, Catskill, New York. Can't make it? You can stream our services live on YouTube or Facebook, which you can find on our web at clchurch.cc. That's clchurch.cc. Don't forget to follow us throughout the week for devotions and times of sharing from leaders and staff. Leave a comment, leave a like, whatever you want. And thanks once again.